Unfiltered. Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo.
Philadelphia Sports Talk. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome into Unfiltered and welcome back to the one and only Ricky Batalico. Ricky, what's up, my brother?
I made it back. That's what's up.
And you have a voice. I wasn't sure you were going to have a voice after the weekend you had, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised myself. No, I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good. I got some sun over the weekend, watched some golf, watched some NASCAR, watched some Phillies. I'm all over the place. Great sports week.
Yeah, it was a great sports week, and I do want to talk to you about the PGA Championship a little bit later, but you just mentioned the Phillies, and we got to open up the show talking about the Fightin' Phils. So let's go back to April 27th. This team was 9-19. They looked like a team whose window had officially closed, and then they make the decision to fire Rob Thompson. They promote Don Mattingly to manager, and all they've done since the 9-19 start is they've gone 15-4. They went from being 10 games under 500 to now 1 game over 500. And it's the first time they've had a record over 500 since April 7th. Ricky Bo, you starting to believe in this Phillies team, brother?
Yeah, I do. And I know a lot of people will say, well, you know what? You look at their schedule, it's been kind of weak. That is true. That's not a falsity that's being thrown out there. But what are they doing? I mean, 15-4 in 19 games. That's not a joke. That's a team that's on a mission. And that to me, you take these games, everybody else has to play these games too. You got to look at it this way. Are the Braves going to go 15-4 against these teams? I look at it like this. You're winning series. That's first and foremost. That's what you need to do. The other fact is you had to get back to 500. What would it take for you to get back to 500? They've done that. They've gone past that. They're a game over 500 right now. But the main thing is, and I'm not even getting into what's actually happening on the field, but the main thing about this whole situation is, what do you gain? Think about this. How about confidence? No matter what, you go on a 10-game losing streak, your confidence is about as low as it'll go. So what's next? You start winning series. You start feeling good about yourselves. Now you can start bringing on the good teams. Why? Because your confidence level has changed. The way you've been playing baseball has completely changed. They're a much more fundamentally sound team. Their pitching is a lot better. We'll take Nola out of that equation. But their starting pitching has gotten a lot better, which makes it what? Better on the relievers. It makes it easier on the relievers because momentum's always going in their favor. There's a lot of good coming out on this team, and there's two names that you could say that will stick out right off the bat: Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber. Think about that for a second.
Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber have been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, they really are. They've put this team on their back outside of the starting pitching as far as their position players. Schwarber and Harper have put this team on their back, and what they've done over the last couple of weeks is just mind-blowing. I mean, Kyle Schwarber on pace to shatter last year's 56 home runs. Bryce Harper on pace for over 40 home runs. Maybe we'll have both of them in the home run derby. What do you think, Ricky Bo, down at Citizens Bank Park?
That would be interesting, wouldn't it? I mean, those two guys going head-to-head, they wouldn't be teammates then, would they?
Now, that would be a lot of fun. But
that would be awesome.
In the last 4 series alone, Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber are slashing .293, an on-base percentage of .381, and you ready for this? A slug of .772. They got 14 home runs combined in their last 12 games. That's pretty damn good, man.
Well, the one thing you have to understand, that's not going to last all season. I don't think anybody's even capable of doing that all season long. But to get streaks like this, where they could basically carry a team, it's kind of funny because this is leading me back to 2008. And why do I say that? Because you could lean on 1 or 2 guys in the lineup to carry you. Back then, you would lean on Ryan Howard. Ryan Howard could carry you for a week. Okay, if he goes cold, then what? Well, then there's Chase Utley who could carry you for a week. If he goes cold and they're both cold, Jimmy Rollins will then carry you. And then they had their cast of characters that were doing the job in the Jason Worth and Pat Burrell and all these other guys. But, I mean, you always need those elite players on your team. And I think the Phillies have found them this year, a couple of guys that could kind of put the team on their back and say, you know what, come with me. I'll carry us for a little while. That is a huge thing to say. That's a needed thing for this team.
Did you say elite?
I believe I used that word.
I think you did, and that would be the right word for Bryce Harper this season. He's been tremendous. Now, you did mention, though, that this 15-4 record has come against easier teams. Like, we knew that. When they fired Rob Thompson, we said, all right, now's the time for them to go on a run. So the last 6 series, San Francisco Giants, right now, they're 20-27. The Miami Marlins are 21-26. The Athletics are 23-23. The Rockies, 18-29. The Red Sox, 19-27. So the only team with a winning record was the team you just swept. The Pirates are 24-23. So this Phillies team, as exciting as it's been, and you could only play the teams on the schedule, they're still only 7-12 against teams over 500. And the reason that's going to be important, guess what? The next 4 series are against teams over 500 right now. You got Cincinnati, who's 24-23. Then you get the Guardians, who are 26-22. And then you got some big tests. The Padres are 10 games over 500, and the Dodgers are 11 games over 500. We're going to learn a lot about this hot baseball team in the next 4 series, Ricky Bo.
Interesting. That's why I brought up the whole point that they are gaining confidence. You know, because when you go up against these teams, what's the one thing that was missing? I mean, you're losing 10 games in a row. You know your confidence level is dribbling, and it just kind of dissipates as those 10 games come up on you. Now, how do you get that confidence back? I don't care who you play. I don't care if you're playing Joe Schmo down the street. You beat the living daylights out of them and you keep moving forward. I think that gains confidence. And you could even look at some of the numbers. Alec Boehm, he is now over the Mendoza line. He's hitting 209 now. So that's a little bit more respectable than 130 something. I think that's a lot more respectable. You look at Bryson Stott, he's hitting the baseball right now. Brandon Marsh is still hitting at a 329 clip, even though that's a little bit of a slide for him. But, I mean, when you think about what's going on with not just 1 or 2 guys in this lineup, but up and down the lineup, guys are starting to kind of find their groove. And when that happens, and you have guys that are absolutely going off with Harper and Schwarber, it's easy for those guys to take their at-bats right now. Now, if Schwarber and Harper would have been struggling for the last 6 or 7 games, I think it would have been a lot tougher on the rest of the lineup. Why? Because then you're squeezing the bat tight. You need to do something. You have to get a hit. In these last couple series, it's kind of been like one of those things where just go up there, relax, and do what you do. How you got to the majors? Just go up there and swing the bat. I think that's where the Phillies are right now. It looks like they have kind of gotten into a nice little cocoon for themselves. A cocoon, I used.
Well, it is. The spring is here, right? Or we're almost at the summertime. Cocoon, rebirth. I think the analogy works, Ricky.
Okay, whatever.
Right? We got the caterpillars turning into butterflies soon, don't we?
I think they've already started.
I haven't seen a butterfly, actually, now that I think about it.
Now that you say that, no.
Yeah, so it's a good analogy by you. Very timely. Very timely.
Whatever, it worked.
But you're talking about the confidence level, and I agree with you. Like, they're starting to get more confidence. Bryce Harper this weekend was asked about, hey, did you start to think maybe you weren't that team that you thought you could be? And he said their confidence never wavered. Listen to Harper.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that thought ever crossed our mind that we weren't the team. So, just got to keep going, keep doing what we're doing. We're a really good baseball team, and, just got to keep rolling.
Now, I know he's saying that, and that is the right answer to have.
Yeah.
There's no way that they didn't start to question themselves when you're 9-19 and you get your manager fired.
Well, it's easier. Let's face it. Come on. Let's be honest here. It's easier to come out and say that when you're playing good baseball, which they are right now. Now, yeah, I guess if you're in a 10-game losing streak, nobody in that clubhouse is feeling good about themselves. Nobody's feeling. I think it may have been just one of those things like it was a shock. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get hit by a punch and you're like, ooh, now I'm a little dazed. And they may have been sleepwalking through some of those games thinking like, what is going on here? Maybe we're not that team. But then you start winning games. And like I said, the confidence goes the other direction. You start feeling good about yourself. And you know what? What usually happens is you start playing baseball to your capabilities, which is where they are right now.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. Like, not everybody's pulling their weight in that lineup. Like Trey Turner hasn't really turned things on this year, right? Adolis Garcia, as much as we were the official fan club of Adolis Garcia, in his last 15 games, he's got 1 home run. He's got a slug of 241. That's not good, right? Alec Boehm's turned things on a little bit, but then look at JT Realmuto. He's not swinging the bat well right now. So is it a good thing that, hey, you're finding ways to win, you're 15-4, but it's really because of Schwarber, Harper, Brandon Marsh, a little bit of Alec Boehm, and Bryson Stott's turned things on a little. But it's your starting pitching. It coincided just when Mattingly took over, was also around the same time Zach Wheeler came back, and you've seen a drastic difference from the starting rotation, too.
Yeah, you have to wonder if maybe just his leadership and his attitude coming back, if that didn't help the Phillies starting rotation a little bit, because Wheeler has been nothing but growing, too. When you look at all his starts, he's gotten better and better as each start has gone on. And I'm saying that like he had a 10 ERA to start. He didn't. He knows how to pitch. He's a smart individual when he steps on the rubber. And you look at what he did in his last game. He's got a 1.99 ERA. This is really shaping up. This is strangely shaping up that it could be Wheeler versus Sanchez for the Cy Young.
It's incredible.
Can you imagine that?
Well, the other guy who's up, the Phillies hit around a little bit yesterday, Paul Skeens.
Yeah. I mean, Paul Skeens, he looked pretty sharp early on in that game, and the Phillies just kind of took some time to get to him. But when they got to him, they belted him around pretty good. And sometimes that's what it takes. That doesn't hurt this whole situation or the confidence factor either. We all know Paul Skeens is one of the better pitchers in Major League Baseball, and to go in there and beat him around like they did, that's only going to make you better for your next game, for your next series, for your next week. And you know what? There's nothing better than beating the best. And especially, you know what makes it sweeter for a ball player? You know those hitters in there are thinking to themselves, we got 2 possible guys on this team that could get a Cy Young if they keep pitching like they are. If we do some damage to this guy right now, it's only going to hurt his chances later on in the season. Great job by the Phillies. Great job going after Paul Skeens.
Yeah, a great job on Sunday going after Paul Skeens, and maybe their best win of the season on Friday night after Aaron Nola had a terrible start. To battle back and win that game the way they did, I thought it was over. I didn't think they were going to battle back, and they found a way to win.
They were down 5 runs. They were down 8-3 in that game, and I'm kind of watching it saying to myself, there's no way they come back. Here they come. And you know what? That had a lot to do with staying somewhat close, too. I mean, with Schwarber's 2 home runs were huge in that game. 5 RBIs the guy had. And I guess you got to give the bullpen some credit for sticking in there for as long as that game was going on, and what was happening in that game was not a great night to pitch. Obviously, when you have that kind of scoring going on, the ball flying out of the ballpark, never a game that you're like, ooh, let me get in there really quick. So, you kind of fight through that one. You have your offense kind of just continuing to battle and scratch their way back, and then just the takeover at the end. There's nothing better than that in baseball.
And then our own Ray Dunn.
How about that?
He put out a tweet on Friday night that has since gone viral, getting picked up by a lot of outlets, because Schwarber hit his 20th home run in that game on Friday night, which was May 15th. So listen to what Ray Dunn put out there. In Ryan Howard's 58 home run season, he didn't hit his 20th home run until June 5th. In Aaron Judge's 62 home run season, he didn't hit his 20th home run until June 3rd. And in Barry Bonds' record-setting 73 home run season, he didn't hit his 20th home run until May 19th. Kyle Schwarber did it on May 15th. Are we going to have a new home run king? Is he going for 74, Ricky Bo?
Here we go.
74 for Schwarbs?
I would love that, but I just don't know if you could keep up. I mean, this is a frenetic pace. I just don't know if you could do that all season long. What do you go? 8 out? He had 9 home runs in 8 games.
It was crazy.
That doesn't have. I told you, he's playing wiffle ball in his backyard when he's on a big league field. That to me is the most incredible thing in the world that he could go out there and every single day he's going to put a good swing on the ball. This guy is pretty incredible, and I don't know if people even appreciate what they have in a guy in Kyle Schwarber right now.
Yeah, I read another tweet. This was from Underdog MLB. Now, this was on...
Oh, Underdog. Huh.
Yeah, this was on Saturday, so things might have changed. But Kyle Schwarber's 9 home runs since May 7th were more than 21 Major League Baseball teams have had. Not just players, teams have had during that span. Like, he is on a different level. And the craziest thing is, though, as much as we're all talking about Schwarber, not that people are ignoring what Bryce is doing, but Bryce isn't really getting talked about as much as he should, because what Harper has done, too, has been almost as impressive as what Schwarber's been doing. These guys are amazing right now.
You know what's great about Harper? And this is something, whenever he's struggling, what does he try to do? He tries to pull everything. Right now, he's using all fields, and it's not just the home runs. It's gap to gap. He's hitting the ball hard. He's hitting the ball on the line. And he's coming up big in big situations. And you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, he's in that clubhouse, or when he goes home at night, he's pretty proud of himself. He has to be. The way he's swinging the bat right now and the comments from the offseason, this guy's got to be fired up like there's no tomorrow. I know he comes off as this calm individual when he's talking after games, but there is no way. He is 100% fired up.
Yeah, and he should be, because like when I look at the way this season started, if you're Kyle Schwarber and you're Bryce Harper, and you take a step back, I know they're under contract for many more years to come, but you could make the argument this might be their best shot to finally get over the hump and win the World Series. You don't know if you're going to have Zach Wheeler. You don't know as you get older if you're still going to be the same player. This team right now, with Zach Wheeler still here and Sanchez pitching at an all-time high, Cy Young candidate type of pitcher, this might be their best chance. And Schwarber and Harper said, all right, I'm putting this team on our backs, and we're not going to let this season get away from us. And the question I want to throw out now to everybody, not will they win a World Series? No, I'm not asking you will they win a World Series, but are you starting to allow yourself to believe that this team can win a World Series as constructed? Can they win a World Series this season with the way this team is constructed? I would love to hear from Phillies fans, because if you don't believe that they can, I'd love to hear why. What are you seeing that would lead you to believe that they could not be in contention for a World Series? Hit us up on the Davis Honda text line. Send your voice memos. Pick up the phone and call. It's the same number across the board, 610-632-0975. We're going to keep it with the Phillies, because I was listening to the Foul Territory podcast this weekend, and Eric Kratz, who's a co-host on the show, he made a statement about the NL East basically being over and that the Braves already have won the NL East. And I have a question for you, Ricky. Is he right? But will it even matter? We'll talk about that coming up next. Unfiltered on this beautiful, hot Monday afternoon, talking some Phils, the above 500 Phillies. Keep it here, 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports, Philadelphia.
Unfiltered. Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo.
Philadelphia Sports Talk. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
24-23. Philadelphia Phillies, first time over 500 since April 7th, thanks to a 15-4 record under Don Mattingly. Ricky Bo, I saw this crazy stat on Twitter. Let me give credit to, it was Elias Sports that put it out.
Elias,
whatever. Thank you. Elias. Tomato, as I say.
Same spelling.
All right. So the Phillies are only the 5th team in the last 100 years to go from 10 games under 500 to over 500 in the first 47 games of the season.
It's a wild ride. I mean, when you think about the emotions we were going through because of how bad they were playing in that 10-game slump. I mean, it was demoralizing for a lot of fans. I think they took that like as a gut punch that this is how this team's going to end up. I mean, there's way too much time in a baseball season to judge them on a 10-game losing streak. I think you'll have plenty of time as the summer to go on to judge them as much as you want. But, I mean, I guess this is what they mean by enjoy the ride. I guess we got to enjoy the ride through the downs and enjoy the ride through the ups.
Yeah, you do have to enjoy the ride, but we're not going to enjoy it too much because we're asking the question if you now believe they can win the World Series. I would love to hear from Phillies fans, though, if the last 19 games that watched your team go 15-4 have changed your opinion. Do you think they're good enough to win a World Series? Not saying you're predicting that they will, simply that they can. So hit us up. But before we get to the Davis Honda text line, I know a lot of texts already came in, Silvano said. The old saying, Ricky, is you can't win a division in April, but you can lose it. And Eric Kratz of Foul Territory thinks the NL East is already over and the Braves are the champs. Listen to this.
I think the division's out of reach. On it, we had Cano on, Jesus Cano, the writer for The Athletic that follows the Braves. And I asked him, I'm like, what do the Braves need to do, or what could the Braves do that would, get them out of this? Because they are leading the league in pitching, leading the league in hitting, and they have a 9-game lead over the Phillies. Always said you can't win it in April, but you can lose it. And the Phillies, I just think 9 games is just too much.
All right, so now updated standings, they're 8 games back. A little early to be looking at the standings, but Vegas also thinks it might be over. They got the Braves at a minus 320 to win the division, the Phillies at a plus 380. So 2 questions for you. One, do you agree with that? And 2, does it really even matter if they win the division?
When I was a kid, I could remember the New York Yankees being 14 games behind the Red Sox in August. So you know my opinion already. I don't believe any lead is safe in May. I'm sorry. We haven't gotten to summer yet. I mean, you have to start looking at this as a bigger picture, not just what has already happened. You don't think the Braves are going to have their little tumbling streak at some point during the season? I do. So, no, I don't think the NL East is out of hand yet. If it was 20 games right now, I'd say, yeah, probably. That's a lot of games to make up. But you're talking about just 8 games right now. It's not impossible to come back from that.
So they can come back. I agree with you. But to be honest, I don't even care if they win the division. The farthest this team has gone in the Bryce Harper era was 2022, and they were a wild card team.
Yeah, but don't judge off of that.
I'm just saying it doesn't really matter.
No, but I also see what you're doing. Oh, it doesn't matter. They just take the wild card and they'll run it that way. I don't think it should matter. If you have a healthy Sanchez, you have a healthy Wheeler, and a healthy Luzardo going into the playoffs, you should be golden. When I tell you golden in the playoffs. And it hasn't panned out that way for them the last couple of years. But, I mean, let's face it, when all is said and done, the main thing that we're going to be looking at is the playoffs. And what did they do in the playoffs? Because this season could go as gold as you want the rest of the way out. And everything looks great. But you know what? There's going to be 50% of that fan base that's going to be like, well, you know what? If they don't win the playoffs, this team is just not going to get there. It's never going to happen. Yeah, I don't care what Dave said. He was probably right, but who knows?
No, you're right. It's all about October, and that's the question we're throwing out on the Twitter poll and the Davis Honda text line is, do you believe that this team can win a World Series as constructed? I want your answer, Ricky, in a second, but let's just update or introduce, I should say, the Twitter poll. Twitter poll up?
It's up.
Twitter poll always up, standing strong, thanks to Dr. Avi Donapel of Iron Mountain Men's Health. What do we got?
Do you believe the Phillies can win a World Series this year? Yes or no? Early votes, 54% are voting no. 46% saying yes.
All right. I thought it was going to be more saying no just because people are still a little jaded about the last few Octobers and then the way the season has started. But the fact that 46% of people are starting to see what I'm seeing, Ricky, that I'm not saying this team will. They still have to get through the Dodgers. They still have to get through the Braves. But watching what we're watching from Schwarber and Harper and Brandon Marsh, I don't expect them to stay this hot, but you're seeing how good they can be, and they can turn things on and carry this team. But then more importantly for me, like you just pointed out, what you're getting from Sanchez and Wheeler, you could win any series with those two guys as your 1-2 punch.
If you're going to be legit about this and you're going to really kind of, let's take the names off of the uniforms. What team right now, let's say right now the season ends, what team do you think people would pick by just the names on the field? What team do you think the people would pick? And leave the Dodgers out of this because everybody would pick the Dodgers. Leave the Dodgers out. But when you look at the rosters, what team do you think would have the best chance of winning a World Series? And I'm taking away the names on the front of the uniform. I'm taking away the past. Look at today. And when you see Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber and the home runs they're going to end up having at the end of the season, and then what do? You look at starting pitching in the playoffs. Starting pitching with Zach Wheeler, even Luzardo, and Christopher Sanchez. Two of those three good, maybe viable people that could win the Cy Young. I think legitimately you would pick the Phillies.
Yeah, I mean, listen, again, I understand the last 6 series have been against average to below average teams.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you could only play those teams that are on your schedule. And since April 27th, not only is this team 15-4, they're top 3 in baseball in terms of runs scored per game. They're top 3 in baseball in slugging percentage. And just as importantly, their pitching staff is top 4 in baseball in ERA. And that's even with Aaron Nola laying an egg.
Wow.
So
I don't know what they're going to do with that.
That's one of the things that could hold this team back is we have a great 1-2 punch in Sanchez and Wheeler. What are you going to get from Luzardo? Because he's been up and down 2 years in a row now. You don't necessarily know what you're getting on any given start. And then outside of Luzardo, you don't really have a 4th or 5th starter with Nola and Painter right now. Now, Painter had a good outing the other night. They took him out early. He's back on the bump tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they took him out early for I'm not really sure why. I think it was just a confidence thing. When you think about it, a guy that's been struggling goes out there, gives you 5 innings and only 1 run, or just over 5 innings and 1 run, you'd probably think about taking him out there too. Yeah, it was probably a good move in the long run.
Yeah, for a confidence level. But, yeah, I mean, that's my biggest concern with this team. But I'm also looking at the lineup right now. And even though I don't expect Schwarber and Harper to continue to stay this hot, I'm also expecting Turner to get going a little bit. This was the NL batting champion last year. And in the last 15 games now, where this team is playing really good baseball, his OBP in the last 15 games is 224 for Trey Turner.
Yep.
That's your leadoff hitter. That's not great. Adolis Garcia, he's hitting 167 in his last 15 games with only 1 home run. JT Realmuto, he's got an OBP of 211 in the last 15 games. So you're winning games even with those guys not doing much in the lineup. I'm actually looking at the glass half full in that scenario. Saying, all right, well, I expect Turner to get going. Adolis, I don't know what you got in Adolis Garcia, to be honest with you. I really don't know what you have in Garcia.
He's starting to be a little concerning. Yeah, I would put him on the Max Kepler block right now.
Man, Dave Dombrowski knows how to pick outfielders, don't he?
Although he plays the field extremely well.
He's a good fielder. We knew that was going to be an upgrade, but as far as the plate, it was hit or miss. Are you getting 2023 version or the last 2 season version? And right now it looks like the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to change either. I mean, you might want it to change. You might sit there and say, oh, no, everything's going to work out great. I mean, I guess the one thing you should really look at with Garcia is let's just hit some home runs. That's it.
Yeah, what has he got on the year, Adolis, the swollest?
Well, homers 4.
Yeah, that's not great. The crazy thing is Schwarber's got 20, Harper has 12, and then the closest to him is Garcia, Marsh, and Stott, all with 4. Oh, Turner's got 4 as well. So
yeah, Turner's got 4 home runs. That might be his only hits.
Yeah, Turner's got to get going. But to the question of can they win a World Series, a lot of people have been hitting us up on the Davis Honda text line. Get your voice memos in. All right, we hear you twice a show, 345 and 525. Send your voice memos in. Can the Phillies win a World Series as constructed? Would love to hear from you. 610-632-0975. Let's get a text in here, so.
All right, we have this texter that says they think they could win with an improvement in stability of the pitching staff, mostly the starters. Luzardo either looks like the best pitcher of all time or the worst. Andrew Painter has amazing innings and then just gets bullied by the batters. Aaron Nola, I don't even know.
Yeah, it's a good question. Nola is turning out to be maybe one of the worst contracts in the city right now.
It's pretty bad.
If he continues on this pace, it would be. Well, I don't. Do you still include one that's not here, but he's still under contract?
Walker.
Yeah.
Well, at least Walker's ends after this year.
True.
Nola's goes until when?
Yeah, I don't know how Aaron Nola can improve himself unless he is spot on with his pitches. He's going to have problems. He doesn't throw 96, 97 miles an hour.
Oh man, I'm looking at Nola's contract. I mean, I remembered it being bad. I forgot it was this bad. 7-year, $172 million contract.
And what year is he in?
And he's only in the third season of it.
2 or 3.
It goes through 2030.
Oh,
that hurts. That might be worse than Embiid's 3-year extension that we're sitting on right now at 193.
Oh, that's awful. I mean, it's. I didn't believe in it when it happened. I was a little surprised when that one happened. Like, I wasn't surprised when they re-upped Sanchez because he was getting killed on his contract. That was a team-friendly contract. The Luzardo one I even questioned this year. So, I mean, you look at the Nola contract, and he had over a 6 ERA last year, and it's not looking much better this year.
Yeah, I guess the problem with that contract, too, with Nola is you were starting to see some chinks in the armor a little bit, even when they gave it to him. You know what I mean? Like, this wasn't one where it's, he's fallen off since he got it. Like, there were some questions even when they gave him that contract.
Yep.
So and then because of it, Ranger Suarez is in Boston now. Because you could have made the argument, all right, we'll go with Ranger. You still could have had Luzardo. You could have had Wheeler, Sanchez, and let Nola go. But I wonder if that was Dombrowski or if that was Middleton kind of showing allegiance to a guy that had given you a lot of time here.
Here's the difference. You look at Luzardo. He's got a 5.07 ERA right now. You say to yourself, well, he'll bring that down. He has opportunities to bring that down. You look at Nola at a 5.91. Would you say the same thing?
About what?
About Nola being able to bring that ERA way down.
I don't know, because the issue is he has his curveball this year, right? Like, he's throwing that curveball okay.
Yeah, but he's getting pelted around with everything else.
And he's getting behind in counts early, so he can't even really use the curveball. Yep. I don't know. I'm worried about Nola. I don't know if he's able to come back, and that's a big concern because you also don't know what you have in Painter. I mean, the crazy thing is, where would this team be if Wheeler didn't come back as quickly as he did? They're the 15-4 record coincides with when Zach Wheeler came back. I think they're 16-5 when Wheeler came back. All right, well, let's continue this conversation. There's a lot of people who want to weigh in. What are you thinking about this Phillies team? Are you starting to believe again in what you've seen under Don Mattingly? Hit us up, 610-632-0975. We'll get more of your reactions. But where do the Phillies fall in the latest MLB power rankings? And is Vegas starting to believe in this team? We'll get a look at some of the updated odds as well coming up right after this. Unfiltered, 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports, Philadelphia. All right, welcome back into Unfiltered. We got some breaking news during the commercial break. Guess who's back, Ricky Bo?
AutoZone.
Get in the zone. AutoZone. Midday's favorite player, Otto Kemp. And you know who they sent down? Felix Reyes. He was struggling, man.
He was struggling mightily. I mean, he deserved to. That's a wrong word to use. He should have been sent down.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a championship caliber team and you think Otto Kemp could do a better job, you do that move. Exactly what they just did. So, interestingly enough, we went to break, and Sean Kane, the producer here, said, I bet he's in the lineup tonight, too. It wouldn't surprise me.
Is there a lefty on the mound for Cincinnati?
Yep, Nick Lodolo for Cincinnati.
Yeah, you might be right. And if Dave Dombrowski does meet with the media before the game, I could hear it now. Well, we sent Otto down. We thought Otto could be a good contributor for the club this season. He struggled early, but down with the Iron Pigs, he slashed .262. He hit a lot of doubles, and he had that one game with 7 RBIs, which was a Lehigh Valley record. Otto Kemp, baby. Maybe this is what he needed. You send him back.
Can we just run a press conference and it'll just be you doing Dombrowski? It'll sound just like him. We could fool a lot of people.
And then I could just see it too. Felix did a lot of good things for us, but we think he needs to play every day, and that wasn't going to happen here. You know, he has his lines he goes to, but maybe this is what Otto Kemp needed, because he did go down, and to his credit, in the 24 games he was with Lehigh Valley, he was hitting the ball really well. He was. And you were hopeful that they sold us on Otto Kemp. We didn't see it early, but they kept selling us as he was going to be that right-handed bat. I wonder if this means now no more Edmundo Sosa in left field.
I would assume so. You have to assume Otto Kemp's going to be the guy going out to left field. He wasn't great in left field either, though. Don't get your hopes all up.
No, he was not great in left field. That is true. Wait, was he playing left field for Lehigh Valley? Is that where they had him playing or not?
I didn't look because this just happened real quickly, but I could look that up for you.
Yeah, look it up. Did they have him playing third base or did they have him playing left field? Oh, let me see. I'm looking it up too.
Auto zone.
Get in the zone. Hold on, I can't find. See if you could find that. Because while you're looking that up, I promised people we would take a look at the MLB.com power rankings. So the Phillies moving up in the power rankings. Well, your number one team, according to MLB.com, is the Atlanta Braves. Not ideal that you're in your division. But the last week power rankings had the Phils 18th. They have moved all the way up to number 11, according to MLB's power rankings. And maybe just as important, you look now at the odds. Do you know what the Phillies' odds are to win the National League?
No, you're going to tell me.
They got the fourth best odds. I mean, obviously the Dodgers are number one. And then you got the Braves, the Cubs, and then right there, the Philadelphia Phillies have the fourth best odds to win the National League and represent the National League in the World Series. And even in the World Series, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 best odds to win the World Series. So even after starting 9-19, having to fire their manager, after going 15-4, one, they're now more likely, according to Vegas, to make the playoffs than miss it. That's a huge change. They have the 6 best odds to win the damn World Series, even after a 9-19 start. But what else is crazy? Have you looked at some of these awards, Ricky?
No.
Second best odds to be the National League MVP, Kyle Schwarber. Fifth best odds, or tied for fourth, actually tied for third best odds, Bryce Harper. So 2 and 3 in the MVP odds, Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper. Cy Young in the National League, Christopher Sanchez, a plus 250, Paul Skeens, a plus 240. Sanchez is right there.
Told you, I think Sanchez is going to win it. That's it's a little bold, but I think he's one of those guys. I mean, he's 29 and a third innings, whatever it is, without giving up a run. That's impressive in itself.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Oh, by the way, here you go. First base, he played 1 game. Third base, 8 games. Left field, 13, and DH twice. So left field's been his main position since Otto Kemp has been sent down to Lehigh.
All right, so that's good. That's good. I was looking at some other odds, too, by the way.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, they're not on FanDuel right now. They must have taken it off because they must be updating it. But as of this morning, Don Mattingly had the second best odds to be manager of the year.
Are you kidding?
Yes.
After, 19 games?
After 19 games, Mattingly had the second best odds to be manager of the year.
I guess if you want to look at it in a certain sense that he pulled this team from the ashes so far.
Yeah, I mean, if this team goes on a run and ends up making the postseason after that start, I guess you have to consider Mattingly.
Would that be amazing? I mean, the guy didn't even think he was going to be managing this year to start with. And now all of a sudden he jumps in a managerial position and the players kind of stand up for him. I think that's a really good thing for the organization and for Don Mattingly, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, look, Rob Thompson probably deserved it in 2022, even though he didn't win it.
Yeah, maybe there's a little something to this in the sense that Don Mattingly's never gotten that ring, by the way.
Not even as a player, which is crazy to think.
Can you imagine?
Oh, that would be storybook.
He jumps in after whatever number of games, leads the team to a World Series championship.
Storybook.
That would be.
I do want to hear from Phillies fans. Get your voice memos in. Are you starting to believe that this team can do it this year and win a World Series? 610-632-0975. We hear you coming up at 3:45. I want to go to the phones now, though, Ricky, because somebody's on the line who wants to hold me accountable. I want to hear what this is about.
I can't wait for this.
So let's go to Albert from South Philly. He wants to hold me accountable. Albert, what's up, brother?
All right, Bill. I got a question for you, though, first, Bill. Since I just heard you say, Bill, Rob Thompson should have been manager of the year in 22. That's real nice. How would you like our manager of the year to pull out Zach Wheeler in a elimination game at Game 6? You really believe he should have been manager of the year? Are you serious?
Well, isn't it based on regular season results?
Yes.
So it wouldn't even have been considered at that point.
No, I think you should have put the magic wand in the given the manager of the year.
Wait, Albert, let me ask you a question. I want to make sure I know who I'm talking to. Are you the guy who called and yelled at us for saying Bryce Harper didn't have an elite year last year?
Yeah, I'm the guy you hung up on, because you didn't want me to make my point.
I gave you over 2.5 minutes on the air. We played the clip the next day. I gave you over 2.5 minutes, man.
Ricky, you got your hand on the button, Ricky, because he's talking about the whole call was 2.5 minutes. Let's rehash this, Bill. Please, just give me a minute, because I know Ricky's going to understand me. Okay, when I said that, you couldn't understand the fact that 27 homers and 75 RBIs in 130 games was projected to be 30-plus and 90 RBIs hitting after a guy that had hit every duck on the pond and 56 homers. You just kept throwing down our throats that it was a subpar season. Then, in the winter, you went on the Bryce Harper tour of saying he's got no more bat speed, the WBC, he's 4 for 24. My question to you is, Bill, is when are you going to take out a marquee on the bridge or Walt Whitman or send him a fruit basket and apologize to this man? Because at 32, 33 years old, you don't lose bat speed if you're Bryce Harper, and you just, Billy, it's ridiculous. And you got a major league player next to you, a former major league player. And Ricky, sometimes you got to hold him accountable, Ricky.
Wait, hold on, Albert, though. Listen.
Everybody has their own opinion.
Yeah, but hold on.
His opinion. By the way, Bill's wrong a lot.
But Albert is one. I think you're misconstruing what I was saying. What I had said multiple times was it was a down year for Bryce Harper. If you want to compare, but if you want to compare Bryce Harper to just the average baseball player, it was a good year. Last season he had his lowest OBP in like a decade. He had his lowest slugging percentage in like a decade, and even his own president of baseball operations said, "We got to see if he can get back to being the Bryce Harper who's elite."
Forget Dave Dombrowski a second. Please forget Dave Dombrowski. Are you kidding me? If you were a general manager, Bill, would you take 30 homers plus and 100 RBIs and your third hitter hitting 260? Would you think that's not elite? Would you'd be doing cartwheels? If you asked every major league general manager and asked Ricky Patalico, he's right next to you, if he was a general manager, and your third hitter hit 30 bombs with 90 to 100 RBIs after hitting after Schwarber and hitting 260, he'd be doing cartwheels. Every GM would be doing cartwheels.
All right, Albert. All right. But listen, he didn't have 30. He had 27.
He had 27.
And he only had
75 RBIs.
And he only had 75 RBIs. Listen, Albert is defending Bryce Harper. Now, I will admit this. All right, I will hold myself accountable that Albert wants me to. Watching Bryce Harper in the WBC, yes, I had my concerns. Coming off of last season, which Albert can change the numbers all he wants, was a down year for Bryce. Okay, not for other Major League Baseball players. It was a down year for Bryce. And then watching him in the WBC, he didn't have his timing. He was not hitting the ball well. He had that one monster hit in the championship game. He is having a great season. Was I concerned that Bryce Harper maybe was losing it? A little bit. So if you want me to admit that I was wrong on that, absolutely. The season that Bryce Harper is having right now, the guy is still elite. The guy should be an MVP candidate. And him and Kyle Schwarber are carrying this baseball club right now, Albert. So I appreciate the call, man. He's going to be mad. We gave him 3 minutes just for the record.
And I think the season he's talking about is the 2019 season where he hit 260. He had an OBP of 372, and he had 35 home runs and 114 RBIs.
Yeah, he didn't have that last year.
No.
But all right, a good call from Albert. Get your voice memos in on the Phillies. I want to get back to the Phillies a little bit later, but the PGA Championship was in town this weekend, and the Eagles' chants were loud and clear throughout, and a local sports reporter has made some waves on a tweet about Eagles' chants that he didn't like it. Do you agree? We'll get to that coming up next. Unfiltered, 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports, Philadelphia.